Thanks everybody for coming to my live stream and the market report. So what is happening with this real estate market? Everybody wants to know, right? Well, I'll tell you, there's a lot of things going on where, well, I'd say most people don't get that it's not as bad as it seems, but there's definitely uncertainty of market, what's happening with the home. And the words I brought yesterday up on the screen were inflation, we have invasion, infection, and now I'll add another word, injection. Now they're adding another booster, like we really need another thing to worry about. But today we're going to talk about the uncertainty of the market, what's happening, if you should put your home on the market, if you should hold off, if buyers should be buying houses, what's going on, and the rates, talk about the rates, because they have been going up, but they're still lower than most times. And also talk about home inspections. I have a book called the Home Selling Sharks book, okay? And what we're gonna do is you're all gonna get a copy of my book by going to homesharksbook.com. I'm gonna give you all the links and put them in the chat. That's Home Sharks Book, okay? And we'll talk about why. So there's two things. Every month I'm gonna talk about the market and a half an hour talk about some type of shark. It's shark number 2. I think it's very important to have the home inspected ahead of time. But rates will keep rising, guys. It's going to happen. But I don't think as much as the last 3 months. I'm going to show you why. Because the Fed's going to raise rates, the market is starting to price that in, and the market doesn't want uncertainty, as we know. They'll rise, like I said, but not as much as they've done in the last 3 months. I think they're going to steady off. But I'm going to show you that the impact of interest rates won't have a negative impact on home prices. And historically, I'll show you why that wasn't true. But that has not been true over the last year, and even over the last years, tons of years going by, that this has happened before. So all what's happening right now with the invasion, all these things going on, has happened before, and we pulled out of it. Okay, so we will get out of this. And also I'm going to talk about what will be the impact on home prices. So what does everybody think, if we put it into the chat, what do you think the home prices year over year were for January? I did this before, had it in my report. I'm not sure if you read it, but anybody have an idea? Okay, and I'm not getting ideas, but that's okay. I'm going to put in here, it's 19.1% increase in prices, January, year over year. Okay, which is a good book. And I'm going to also put my Home Sharks book in the chat as well, so you can get that free book from coming to see me today. I do appreciate you coming on and hearing about what's going on. I'm having this big event May 3rd that I also would love people to, my screen in the back here, to come to. And it's going to be at Cedar Brook Country Club. It's going to be amazing. So I'll go over that a little bit later too. So what will be the impact on sales with this interest rate increase? And how many people think that the market is, okay, how many people think that we're going to have a bust? The real estate market's going to bust like 2008. Anybody? Well, I'm going to show you why that's not. You know that 77% of Americans, consumers, feel the same way. They feel that. I get where you're feeling because of all this uncertainty, but it's not going to happen, all right? It's not going to happen. Relax. But do you know that 44%, that's 44% of people, agents, I'm sorry, real estate agents think that the market's going to bust. That's not good. And 44% of real estate agents are leaving the market because they don't have listings, because don't have a real business. I mean, average realtor sells 4 houses a year. You don't have a business when you're selling 4 houses a year. So all the people doing ones and twosies are going to have the business because their buyers can't find houses because they're getting outbid, and they don't have any listings because there's none listings they have. So the shortage of inventory is going to make things different than prior times. This lacking of the number of homes in the market that was not the environment back then. There were homes on the market before. So the inventory is the main thing here. It's been the same shifts throughout every market report I've done. It's not like that not right now. So mortgage rates will continue to go higher through the balance of 2022, I feel, and so does many experts, although the pace of the rate will likely to moderate. Because history suggests that when rates rise, there's an initial bump in home prices, as many people will quickly go out and buy houses, right, before the rates go up anymore. And that's what's happening right now. But after that period, the home prices will slow. So we're going to never have a deceleration. We will not have prices just drop down. It's not going to happen. They might not go up as much. It was 19%. I mean, how many times do you know that prices have gone up year over year, 19%? I'll show you that graph in a minute. But Freddie Mac, they say, well, the analysis shows that 1% increase in mortgage rates results in home appreciation that is 4 percentage points lower. So for a 1% in mortgage rates changes home price growth from 11% to 7%. I'm not sure, but right now, because of inventory, I don't think we've ever been in this market ever that inventory has been so low. But NAR, show you a graph for that. They say inventory is starting, and I see it. I'm boots on the ground. I have about 15 listings going in the market after Easter. I mean, and things are starting to come up. I mean, I was on a search with somebody the other day, and they had like 15 houses they could see. And 3 weeks ago, there was 2 houses. So things are making a move, but the prices, people are still overbidding, and there's multiple offers. That's not changing. It's not going to change overnight. Much of the interest rates increase also in 2022 was the anticipation of what will happen later this year, especially with Federal Reserve interest rate policy. So that was really why that's gone up. And with rates rising and expected to rise probably through 2022, it does make sense to obtain a mortgage right now, refinance if you're in good standing. So what can you expect from the spring market? And how many people out there right now listening are going on the market in the spring or sometime this year? Anybody? Because if you are, it's a great time, because it's right now is the time to go out and get your room by room review. Have us come through, and part of coming here today, I'm going to give you access to a room by room review on my appointment schedule, and you can schedule it. It's 30 minutes. That's all it is 30 minutes coming through the house and seeing what you need to be doing to sell your house. You know, what should you be looking for a year or two? Remember, we're future home sellers. What are you going to do in the future? Calling me today to sell your house tomorrow is not good. You should call me way in advance. Okay. So we're going to talk about the future home sale. And I'm having this huge event on May 3rd, where I'm going to introduce you to all my contractors so you can get your stuff together and start working on the small projects. Get your home inspector. I'll go through that in a little bit. Okay. Let's see, make sure I'm on time. I don't want to bore you too much here today. No, I'm kidding. So what can you expect from the spring housing market? So as it kicks off, people are going to want to know what is going to affect the market. What's happening? Well, there's a lot of factors that are concerning the uncertainty, which we talked about, the invasion, the infection, the inflation. So there's a lot of, the first Fed rate raise was in the last over 3 years, I think it was, just happened. So, things are changing, and you can't have euphoria all the time with these rates. And they're still much lower than they've ever been. I don't know if everybody remembers 18% interest rates back. I don't remember too much. I just remember my father talking about it. And I do remember gas lines. I remember just getting my license, and I'm showing my age, but there was gas lines. I remember that part. I don't remember. I do remember, yes, I do remember the gas lines. But mortgage rates will climb. We talked about that. The short-term rates will signal these rates. That's what's going on. Just look at the 10-year treasury. The housing market will increase. Okay. Realtor.com shows that number of new listings have grown in the last 2 months. And I've seen that too. So we're seeing more activity, more homes coming on the market. Buyers are still out there. And now if you're a buyer and you're frustrated with the limited supply of homes, there's going to be some relief. If I'm getting 15 listings, and I usually do, that's all I do listings. And I have buyer agents who work with my buyers, and get prepared. It's going to relieve. Just hang in there. Don't give up. I just had a couple just give up. They didn't want to even get started because they just didn't want to compete. They want to wait, which is fine. But home prices will rise. It's not going to have doomsday. They might decelerate. The rise is going to decelerate. Maybe it's not 18%. Maybe it's 10%. Maybe it's 9%. I'll show you how the average is. They'd say it's going to be around 6%. And what's causing a mortgage rate? Won't people say won't increasing rates cause home prices to fall? And I will show you that's not the case as well. Okay, so let's get into the graphs. I'm going to show you some graphs. And if you have any questions, please put them up on the chat so I can answer questions. All right, and I want to see what it is that you're looking to understand about the market and what things maybe do you need to do to get your home on the market. I would start off with chapter 4 in my book of my Home Selling Sharks book, talking about home inspections. Home inspection is a good way to figure out what's wrong with my home, what do I need to do, so you don't have any surprises later on. If you have stucco, you might want to get a inspection, things like that. If you have any problems at all, it's always good to get them out of the way because it gives me negotiating power, and that's what it's all about. I'm all about negotiating, so I would like to have as much negotiating power as possible when selling your home. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen, see if I can do it good for you. And I'm going to first show you, just see here. Let me first show you some graphs, get the graphs out of the way first. Okay, so home prices. Home prices. Well, I showed this at my a couple of weeks ago. I did like a quick market report, and this is kind of crazy, right? So from January to 2021 to January 2022, 19%, and January 10.4 for February. We don't know what that is. I guarantee you it's going to be around the same, and then it'll lessen as we go along because prices then went up. So it's easy to go from 10 to 19, but when you get to 17, we're not going to go to another 27%. It's going to level off, and it's just like it did last year, where people thought things were going to level down and things were going to start just decelerating and come down back to 10%, which is still good, but now it went up, and I knew it was going up, and I said that in my report. I didn't believe the economists. I am boots on the ground. So when you're a boots on the ground person, someone who's on the ground, looking at what's going on with the real estate market every day, that's who you call. Don't look at the news because the news is not good. So national average 17.5 price changes. We were around 13. I've showed these graphs before. Change in prices in the last 5 years, 54. What if I told you 5 years ago, buy a house because you're going to have a 45% increase in Pennsylvania? I think you all would have gone out and bought a house, right? So it's a shame some of you did not do that, or it's good that you held on to your house now that you're thinking of selling. And then this is a national average since 1991. So real estate's always the best investment, as you all know, and as I know. And also I want to show you the home forecast for 2022. So I'm up with CoreLogic. Last year they said home prices were going to go up. It was 8% around March or 9%. I'm like, no, it's going to be like double that. And it was. So I think we're going to be higher than that. Personally, I think they're underestimating the people who want to buy a house. Why would you want to rent when rent prices are going up 12%, right? Who'd want to rent a house? So I think it's really important to understand these numbers. And this is another thing, before I get into interest rates, which is really what I want to talk about today, I have to start off with supply and demand. See, supply and demand is everything. I didn't know if anybody knows this. I talk about this a lot. So the inventory for a neutral market where home prices will only appreciate with inflation is a 6 to 7 months. What does that mean? It means that if right now no other homes came on the market, right? No other homes came in the market. How long would it take to get rid of all the homes that are on the market right now? And when you have a 6 to 7 month supply of homes, you have a neutral market, okay? But when the number of homes has a 7+ months supply, homes will depreciate or not appreciate it as much if they appreciate, but usually depreciate. And a seller's market, which we're in obviously right now, home price will appreciate. And we have gone to the lowest ever last month was I'll show you 1.2, I believe it was, interest of supply of homes. This is really, really important. New listings falling dramatically. Well, new listings have come down. This is why we had this pop in December and January. And this has been going on for the last 5 years, where January was like the best month of the year. This is why they thought things were going to level off, right? And all of a sudden, they didn't see it coming, but I saw it coming. I mean, I said it in my reports. We're going to have a great January. And I sold this one house for $130,000 over list. I mean, I've been selling houses. And plus, I do with everything that I do to the houses, I make sure that they're looking properly so people will pay more. Active listings drop again, so it's happening again. So there's not much out there. But the last few months, they've gone up. Here's where I was telling you, the worries of the housing bubble still persist. The percentage of people who say they believe there's a housing price bubble where they live, consumers versus agents. And this is where we're at right now, 1.8. It's not going to go up to 9.4 or 7.3, 8.5 in a day. This is going to take months to get everybody who wants to buy a house into a home, because the people renting are very, 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 very upset about the increase in rates. I mean, there are people sitting in apartments who are all of a sudden getting a 12% increase and they just can't afford it. Okay. So it's got to level off somewhere, right? And then existing home sales, of course, this is the all-time high. And we all know that. I don't know if anybody knew that, but that's been the case for this year. And to show you why it's nothing like last time, there's a volume of loans in billions with a credit score less than 620 that were just giving things away back in 2005, 6. I mean, I had one guy have a mortgage, no money down, a credit score of 620, 580. There was, I can give you a loan. And then what happened was, the bust. And then they got really strict, and there's nobody less than 620 getting a score, what do you call it? A mortgage. Okay. So if anybody have any questions, again, put it into the chat. Chat bar is open. Please let me know if you have any questions. That would be great. And I would love to, to know what you guys have or any questions that you have. Okay, so mortgage rates. Who thinks mortgage rates are going to go up? Who thinks mortgage rates are going to go up? Anybody? Let me show you. Mortgage rates, any more than they are already. They're increasing. Rising inflation, escalating geopolitical uncertainty, and the Federal Reserve actions are driving rates higher and weakening consumers' purchasing power. Okay, well, that's just a recent quote. And yes, they've gone up. They still have a nice 5-1 arm, 10-1 arm. And that's what people were doing back when the interest rates, nobody was getting 30-year fixed. They were all getting the arms. You still can get a low rate. So it's still a good market. And most first-time buyers aren't staying in their home more than 5 to 7 years anyway. So a 10-1 arm is a great product to get. Mortgage rates. This shows it from December to now. So I guess some people are thinking, wow, maybe I should have refinanced back in December. Well, yeah. I don't know why anybody would not have refinanced in the last couple of years with the market the way it has been, unless you had a good rate already. But this is actually now, I think it was almost at 5. I had, well, it depends, because I had a couple who wanted to buy a home, and they put an offer in, and the mortgage gal said, listen, there's no 0-point rate. So even to get these rates right here, you have to pay a point and a half. It's like, wow. Okay, so it's not as hunky-dory as you think, but it's still lower than other times. And I said this earlier, mortgage rates are continue to move higher throughout the balance of 2022, but not at the pace of the rate. So let's not get all upset about it. If you're thinking of selling, you're still going to have a good price come to you. And yeah, it will level off, but it's not going to come down. Okay. And much of the increase is anticipation of what the Federal Reserve. Okay, I said that earlier. Now, what does that look like in a graph? What does that look like in a graph? In a graph, it shows that changes, impact of rising rates on home prices when mortgage increase greater than 1%. So home prices still go up. They're not going down. And this is going past, years. This is going on over the last 20 years, plus almost 30 years, 30 years, 20 years, 30 years. I'm back and forth, plus 8%. Can't even count today. All right, average. But I really like this one slide. Well, this shows the impact of rising rates on houses change when mortgage rate increased by greater than 1%. Home sales. This talks about home sales. So sales of homes might go down, and in certain times you would think, well, there's 14% here because there was that bust. Nobody was getting mortgages anymore. But I'll show you one thing of what constant here was not happening in those big months. When you had an increase, 2.3, this is the most, it went up 11%, and then here at 1.8, 19% on average. But here's what I want. This is the one I want to show you, which is the one with the, this one here. This shows you the months of inventory. I didn't have any data for here, but I'm sure it was high. But look at the months of inventory. 4.8. And what did I just show you? We're at 1.2. Maybe we're 2 now, 1.8 since last time this report came out. More houses have come on the market. Even if we're at 2, inventory will be the first thing that people will look at is inventory, because inventory is it. There was 4.8 months. So we're still in a seller's market back then, and home sales were going down. But now we're at a 1.2, 1.3. So there's nothing to sell. The lack of inventory is going to take precedence over that. And as it talks about, I expect the 30-year rate to continue to rise, so we aren't likely to see big jumps that occurred. Talked about that. And basically, I've mentioned this already, history suggests that rise rates, things aren't going to happen that much, and rates rising expected to rise to 2023. So if you're going to buy a house, now's the time to do that. Okay. So let's stop the share for a second. And I wanted to ask everybody, so far, what did you get out of this? Like, are you home sellers on the call? Are you home sellers? Are you live on Facebook? I can't see this feed right now. Are you a home buyer? What is it that you're afraid of? Anybody have any questions about the market and where it's going? Any questions that anybody has, put it in the chat so I can answer those before we get off the call. So I'm going to go over home inspections. And I think that home inspection, before you have your home in the market, for some people is very valuable, especially if you've been in home for a long time. Okay, so what I'm going to go over is chapter 5 or 4, strategy 2 in my book. And wouldn't you like to know the repairs that could happen in your house before the buyer says something and they're going to ask you to do a lot more? I know people are buying homes with no inspections right now, but that's not going to last much longer. Matter of fact, more and more people, when I get offers, I always get like a couple without the inspection. Now more and more people it's changing. The market's changing. People are becoming more fearful. And the stories that people are hearing about not doing inspection, and then the seller, may not have known these things were wrong, and all of a sudden they get into the house and these things happen, and then they're going back to the seller like, you said you knew this, all this stuff's going on. So that's what people are saying. So talking, I see Ed came on here. You want to buy a house, but we just discouraged to overpay. I understand that. Okay, so what you should do is give it a few months, start looking. We can start doing some looking. So I can look at the areas that you're looking at to tell you what's going on with those areas. Not every area is having this humongous increase, but if you're getting a mortgage, then, and you need to get a rate, and you plan on wanting to get a 30-year mortgage, you're going to want to buy a house now, because ultimately buying a home now, the price that you'll pay for a mortgage over the 30 years, or however many years you're going to be in the house, will be more. You'll actually pay, probably if you wait, the rates go up a little bit more, you might pay another, $100 a month. And then over the course of a loan, it's like thousands. So it's always considered to buy a house now. Now you have to pay $550 for the same house, and you've been looking for 3 years. Well, you should have been looking with me, because most of my clients end up getting the house. It's how to strategically place yourself in that negotiating. Make sure you have a realtor, not just call the realtor who's on that house, because that doesn't usually work anyway. But yeah, I mean, this is the way it's going to be. This is the new normal, Ed. So this is the new normal. Because Ed was wondering, hey, I bought a house, I could buy a house for $400, now I got to pay $550. Yeah, but if you're selling a house, of course, that's where the numbers are. So for buying a house and not buying back in 2019, and if you look back, if you're working with me, I would have showed you the reasons why you should have bought a house then, and not worry about the fact that you're paying more, because you would have been, now you're paying even triple more. So I think buyers aren't really realizing, some of my buyers are realizing now that, oh, I should have just done what you said and just bought this house, because, type of thing. And you're selling also, and it's a small house. So small houses are getting good prices now too, right? And it's always possibly is to become a investor and just rent your small house and have some income there. That's another thing people, unless you need to get the money out of your house. So it sounds like you have a particular situation. And if you're selling your house as well as you're buying a house, you're still going to get the most amount of money you can get in a house, and you're going to pay the least amount of money, because if the prices are going to continue to go up. So just have to buy into the market, and they're not going to come down. We're not going to have a crash. It's not going to have a crash. I mean, I can't say what's going to happen with the government, because we don't want to talk about that right now, because I know a lot of people are unhappy with what's happening there, and it's causing all this. But this is a cycle that we're in, and it's going to cycle down, and then we're going to cycle back up, and we're all going to be fine. So it may be a good time to talk with me. I can kind of see your situation and see whether or not that maybe, I can help you with that. But I feel that you definitely are going to get the most money for your home right now, and you're going to pay the least amount on buying, because they're going to keep going up. So if you find the house you want, the first thing to do is to get your house under contract, and then have it contingent upon you finding a home. And also, I have to see what you're looking for, and maybe what you're looking for and the price you want to pay is impossible. I don't know. And then exactly what you need and what your budget is. So we'll love to chat with you at another time. You can actually schedule an appointment with me at dianescalendar.com, or just call me, and I'll have the numbers for that. Put Diane's calendar.com, or just call me there, or you can text me. This morning I texted you to remind you to come. Just text me there, and either way, I'll say, hey, here's my schedule, here's come out. All right, so let's go into the home inspection. So if you're selling a home, you got to get the book first. All right. So if I don't have your address, the people that signed up through the website from Dom's show, I have your address. I think Ann's on this one. You already have my book. So I'm going to tell you about pre-home inspection. I'm going to show you a pre-home inspection report and why it's so important to have it. So Tony just joined us. How you doing, Tony? And I'm going to bring anybody on. So at the bottom of your screen, it says, raise your hand. So I'm going to bring you all on in a little bit after I talk about home inspections and get your questions answered as well. And I'll get to meet you because I want to meet everybody. And I know I'm going to be meeting Tony this next week. So let's go to a home inspection report and show you the things that they uncover. And this home inspector goes through and he just tears it apart. And that's what you want to do because a buyer is going to do it anyway. But when a buyer sees a report in this kind of market where nobody's doing a home inspection when they buy a house, it makes your home value go up at least another 5% just by spending $500 on a home inspection, because buyers are like, oh, I feel so comfortable in buying. And it's true. They should feel more comfortable. It is uncomfortable for a buyer to buy a house and not do an inspection. But you can kind of go through and see if things are on the outside, but never what's going on in the inside. And that's an interesting thing. That's why I do all the pre-home inspections, but no one else does. So I'm going to show you what a pre-home inspection looks like. And we're going to go here, I think it is. Nope, that's about my next one. Oh, here it is. Here's a home inspection. And it goes through and gives you like a list of different areas of your house where there could be issues. It's thorough everywhere. They're going to look everywhere. And they're going to give you definitions: acceptable, not present, not inspected, marginal, defective, and the address and all that stuff. So first it goes over the lots and grounds and shows you like cracks, and that's like minor stuff. So he puts marginal on it. But the thing that you want to look at is when he puts defective on there, the D word. Like this stoop here, there's no handrails. And you're supposed to have a handrail on a stoop as well. That's if you're selling your house and somebody wants to buy it with FHA or VA loan. But there's 4 inches, aren't supposed to have 4 inches there. So that's something they're going to monitor. But it's not a big thing. Someone can just do something with that. Some silly cracks here and there. And they talk about the deck and some defective stuff with the deck. So it's good to know about that, right? If you're buying a house. And then the seller, what I do is, listen, buyer, we're not going to do anything. I'm just letting you know, here's all the things wrong with the house. We don't actually do anything about some of these. But I'm also going to show you what we decided to do. Lots and grounds. It goes through the garage, checks out the garage, the electrical panels. It says that there's always double tap breakers in every home inspection. It's always the case. It's always too full, especially in a home of this age. Structural has good positive things. Some pump discharges to the sanitary drain. You're not allowed to do that. Okay, if still a cover. Okay, so that's just to let you know when you're doing a sump pump. And there's no railings on the stairs. Nothing's marginal. And they talk about the air conditioning, goes through fireplace, doesn't do a fireplace inspection, but looks to see as much as he can. The heater, the plumbing, right? What's wrong with your plumbing, your bathroom? So it makes you think, wow, if inspectors going to come through my house, what are they going to find? So it's, it's something that you definitely want to look at, but they're going to find it. And you don't want the buyer to come after you after settlement. You don't want that happening, right? The kitchen, there's always get this thing about the anti-tip bracket. It never seems to be on any dishwasher anymore. Not a big thing. We knew the dishwasher, the disposal and dishwasher weren't working, so we're getting those fixed anyway. The bedroom, you have to have smoke detectors in all the rooms, and depends on what township you live in. Like Philadelphia, they don't come into your house. But if you are living in Springfield Township or Springfield Township and Upper Dublin, they do inspect your sidewalks. They don't come inside, but like Warminster, Warrington, the borough, they come inside your house, and you have to have a sewer inspection where the line going out from the house, the sewer has to make sure it's not blocked. Whatever you live in, whatever borough or township you live in, they all have their own rules. Then it goes through a report. This is the summary report. So it goes through a summary, and these are all the marginal things he's picked out, right? And then there's it wasn't that bad, this report. There's a defective summary because we knew the deck had some issues. So we're going to get that redone and get a cost for it and maybe give the buyer credit. And there's some negative slope in the pooling of water there. The roof, they need to put an extension on this to move water coming away from the house so it doesn't pool right there. Need like an extension. I would do that like right away if I was a seller. Attached garage doors, repair damaged door frame to maintain support, electrical. These are all the defective items. Some pump we talked about. There were some stains in the second floor master, but we knew that it was from an old roof, and something about the dishwasher, which we knew as well. So this is an inspection report. Does anybody have any questions about the report? And just put it in the chat. But this is what people are looking for. So if anybody would like a copy of inspection report, just let me know, put it in the chat, and I will give you the sample copy. So here's what we asked the seller to do after all this is done. Let me see, this is it. That's not it. Here, items to address. So what we said was, hey, Mr. Seller, let's put some smoke detectors in the house because that's important. And let's repair the deck. We might give a credit. Repair negative grading, extended downspouts because that's going to keep water from coming into the house. Repair double taps, secure, do these little things. Paint ceiling, old stain, replace garbage disposal, repair dishwasher, it's under warranty, and install GSI. So it's not a big list. And the buyer's like, wow, he's going to do all that ahead of time. Makes you feel so much better. And then gives you like $12,000, $15,000, $20,000 more. It happens every time. So don't think it can't happen for you. So that's why we do an inspection report. And that's what we do for the inspections. So I'm going to stop share for a second. So anybody have any questions about the home inspection and anything we do? So what types of things can the buyer come back on after settlement? Good question. Well, if you have the home inspected prior, buyer knew about it, right? So there's nothing to come back on. But if the home inspector didn't find it, and that's a good home. I have a good home inspector, finds everything. The buyer didn't do an inspection, then it's on the buyer because they didn't do an inspection. But just say the buyer did an inspection, and what could the seller come back with? Buyer come back with? It's only non-disclosed items. So, for example, in the seller's disclosure report, which I do have a copy. Going out an appointment today. I have one over there. So seller's disclosure is a form that gives you. So if anybody wants a copy of seller's disclosure, I can give it to you. So if you disclose that there's no water in your basement, but you had water in your basement in 2012, you should still report that I had water in my basement in 2012, but never had it again. We did some grading on the exterior. I think that made it work. So even stuff in the past, you should always say it happened. Because then they might be talking to a neighbor, and neighbors say, oh yeah, they had water in their basement, but they don't know why, but because something that you fixed. So it's always good to disclose everything in the lifetime that you live there, because that's always good. So they're the things that they come back with, things that you just didn't forget to put on there because it's not happening right now, but it happened in the past. So it's always good to be upfront and honest on the seller's disclosure, though that's the kind of only thing that's ever come back to me. And I'm 29 years of selling thousands of homes, that type of thing. And I've also had a termite thing with the buyer, actually didn't win. It was one of my listings, and supposedly she had termites again after the house was treated, but it was treated. So it's all on the termite company, not on the sellers trying to come back on the seller. So if you have termites, making sure you use a company that actually has a reputable company. So things like that. Like, so other things they can come back with, like, so if you said you fix something, right? Sometimes I tell you, don't fix it, because if you're not going to fix it right, don't fix it at all. Just give a nominal credit let the buyer take care of it. Get an estimate, the buyer take care of it. So sometimes when you open up a can of worms, when you do something, open up like I can open up the ceiling and fix this and put it back, and it'll be much less money. More stuff is going on that you don't know, which you don't know when you open things up. I hope that answered that question, because that's something too. It's like, I'm not going to fix that because something else could be worse. Just give them a credit for that, that type of thing. So that is what can happen in a home inspection. A buyer came back with very minimal things, but they have come back. And right now, because buyers are not doing home inspections, the resort is only on that seller's disclosure. So you have to be even more disclosure. That's why I say, just forget about it. Spend $500. Don't give a home warranty, give $500 and spend money to get a home inspected, because then you'll know. And the buyer will know, and it keeps you out of the loop. Okay, so but always want to make sure that you go into this thing 100% on board and honest with the past things that happen, even though they're not happening right now. Okay, basements are basically the biggest issue. If they had water in the basement, I had it once back in 1965. Well, okay, put it on there. Never happened again. Maybe it was the way the wind blew that day. Okay, so that's kind of important for inspections. So I'm going to show you, and more questions can come, just keep firing at me. I'm going to show you what's next on May 3rd. May 3rd. May 3rd, we're having this big event of Dom Giordano there, and we'll be at Bluebell Country Club. Free hors d'oeuvres is going to be fantastic. You're going to get to meet I'm going to introduce you to all my contractors. I'm going to have as many contractors come, and you can get on their list, and so they can start doing things for you. My home inspector guy will be there. He also does termite, radon, and septic, well, and stucco inspections. And there'll be a question and answer session. And I'm going to tell you some low-cost fix-ups that yield thousands of returns. Just go to Future Home Sale. It should be up and running now, but it's not 100% up and running for that. Monday we go live. And basically going to talk about, if you're going to get your home for sale and I work with future home sellers who are going in the market in the next 2 months to 3 years. I just had somebody settle who sold I guess they came to a seminar 8 years ago, went to their house, and over the 8 years, I've been working with them and giving them contractors, and boom, they sold their house for so much more money than they would have if they didn't do any of the things I told them. So you can't go back in time. It's good to come to these events. It's good to get out there and meet the contractors and meet me and have you come over and do a room by room review, because that's free. We also do photo shoots because, it's good to have pictures of your home when it looks best on this outside. I'm going to go over that as well at the seminar. So what are the low-cost fix-ups? I lend people money to fund their renovations if I feel it's worthy. And we do it for you. So our system's done for you. You don't have to do anything. Just tell us what you want, don't want. We'll have our guys go in. We'll monitor them. You don't have to worry about them being early or late. They'll get the job done. They might say didn't show up one day, but the job gets done when you need it to get done. How a pre-home inspection, talked about that. And learn about the curb appeal, can impact your home's future value. Tuesday, May 3rd, see reverse for details. That is kind of the thing. So, and also here are all the different contracts. So I'd love to see you at Future Home Sale. Here's some of the links. I have the Home Sharks book, if you don't have a book. If I'm going to come out to your house, I'll bring a book. The May 3rd event, futurehomesale.com. Diane's calendar to set up a time. And home inspection video, prehomeinspection.com. Good thing to watch, that prehomeinspection.com. I forgot to put that in the chat when I get back to the chat. Put that in the chat right now. Prehomeinspection.com. I put Diane's calendar already in there. Future home sale, I'm putting that in there. So just kind of look at the chat. I think I already have future home sale. Future home sale in there already. put that in there anyway, just in case you don't have it. Put that in the chat. And future home sale. Okay. So some of the different things. Now for people, I know Tony missed it earlier, but we did go over some slides. And the most important thing I was showing was that the interest rates may be going up, but it will weaken consumers' purchasing power, but it's nowhere near where they were before. Interest rates are still not that high. And I was also showing the months of inventory. It's very important because back when we had the crash, we had too much inventory. It was a buyer's market. In a buyer's market, home prices don't go up. They go down or they stay steady. But in an interest rate, when the inventory is low, like it is now, and will continue to stay low, but houses are starting to come on the market. So things will lighten up a little bit. That's where they're at there. And a lot of people like when I show what's coming with prices already, inventory we talked about, mortgage rates, buyer demand. And then for new buyers, this is why you're paying so much more for a house, okay, is because they're actually 83 markets hit double-digit showings per listing in January. Okay, they were just out in full force, and they still are. So I'd love to talk to you. And Tony, I'm gonna be at your house, and I've been to your house, and I'm not sure who else is on here. It's not communicating with me. So I have questions and answers. So raise your hand, and that will put you in. If you raise your hand, I can bring you into. I can meet you. Anybody like to say hi? I can do that right now. I'll promote you guys to panelists. Do a quick hello. And if you don't want to, you don't have to. And you can ask questions directly. Anything else that you like to talk about? Tony, unmute yourself. I can't hear you. And
okay,
Ed,
there I am.
there you are.
I had to unmute.
How you doing, guys? Any questions? Anything you hope you learned a lot? I don't see your pretty faces, but it's okay. Anybody have any questions? Go ahead.
You still offer that home buyer guarantee
Home seller guarantee?
or home seller guarantee?
Hi, Ed.
Hi, how are you?
Good. So home seller guarantee, sell your home in 26 days? I don't know. I'm selling houses in 2 hours, so 26 days is easy. As long as you're reasonable as far as prices are concerned, like, I want $2 million for my row home on.
Right, yeah.
Where do you live, Ed?
Philadelphia,
Which part?
Port Richmond.
Oh, you guys are neighbors.
Okay.
Tony, yeah. What street do you live on?
I live on Livingston Street.
Oh, okay.
You're right behind me.
Yeah.
Miller.
Miller, yeah.
Okay.
I'm actually coming out there on Tuesday. If you'll be around.
I'll probably be in the hospital delivering a baby.
Oh, congratulations.
Really?
Are you a second one or first one?
It'll be our second one.
Boy, girl, don't know.
That's gonna be a girl.
Good. Do you have a boy now?
We do. He's running around.
Okay,
Right now.
stop right there. Stop right there.
Big difference.
So you're trying to buy a house for 3 years.
Our house is like just too small for 4 people right now.
I would say.
So me and my wife and my son, there's gonna be a fourth, and we just need more room. And we started looking in like 2019 or so, and we had him on the way, and we had some savings, but not a lot. So we said, let's wait another year. We'll save up a lot more money. We could save a lot because this mortgage is really cheap right here,
Right.
and we'll move then. And then COVID hit.
Oh.
We had our son, and then so in 2020 we went and looked at like 2 houses one night with him because we had no one to watch them. And then they were nice, but it was really hard to look at a house with him.
Yeah.
So we said, okay, let's just wait. And then we kept looking at houses and we're looking at them like, this house is so much more money than what it was last year. Like, what is happening?
Yeah.
And then we're at the point where it's like, yeah, we didn't know what to do. So we're still here. We don't need to sell this house to make a down payment.
Okay. Good.
I think we have a good amount of money saved to make a down payment with this, our savings, but it would probably deplete most of it. So we would like to sell it to restore, what we had in the bank at some point. So that's where we're at.
Where are you moving to?
We've been looking mostly in like South Jersey,
Oh, okay.
kind of like a West Stafford or even like a Mount Laurel.
Not going to stay in PA. You want to go to New Jersey? Everybody's leaving New Jersey.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
kidding.
the
It's a good area.
PA, if we found an area that we really liked, no, it's not that I wouldn't want to live in PA. We would. We're just looking for hard to find an area that we really like the houses and neighborhood. We're not really sure where to look in PA because we don't want to live in like a city environment anymore, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I can help you out with PA, and I'm also a South Jersey realtor too. So.
Okay, great.
That's good. So yeah, we can definitely after you have your baby and maybe a few months
Yeah.
together. And I'm going to be over at Tony's house on Tuesday, and he's moving to Florida. So you're just beginning your life, and Tony's going down to Florida. And Anna, she's never going to sell. She's going to stay in her house forever. I was at her house. She's laughing.
Hard stuff.
And now I'm thinking long and hard. I just want to pay a lovely compliment to you and
Thank
to your guests out there. How friendly you are and how honest and upright with me. Tell me the positives and the negatives about my house and about getting the inspection and etc. And the fellow across from me, moved in 2 months ago.
Oh yeah.
And he had to have his roof fixed last week. So he did his own inspection, he told me.
Oh, okay. Well, you never know, and it depends on the demand, right? You have some things to get rid of, things to decide what you want to do with them. You have some things to do.
Yeah. So it pays to have an inspection because he did his own.
Right. And if the seller had done it ahead of time, they would have known. And then he would not have to put out the money to give to the buyer to do a roof. Yeah. So it's always good to have.
Yeah.
Anybody have any questions about the I know that Ed doesn't, I'll send you a book, and Tony, I'll bring one with me when I come.
I still have the one you sent, but
Oh yeah, right. You still have the book, right? That's right. Forgot you had the book from before. You were like an old time booker.
I've been thinking about this a long time. I'm tired of steps.
Yeah, well, we're going to get you out eventually. So I went to Anna's house, but basically what she was talking about, I did a room by room review, and we go through each room and kind of make a list of things that you could do. I'm not saying to do them. I'm going to give you a full list, like all these things, right? And then we're going to get prices to determine whether it's worth it. So I will never, ever make anybody do anything that I wouldn't want to do myself in a home. Okay, so it's really important to know that you just want to make sure that you're not paying $10 and you're not going to get only a $1 return. It's about paying $10 to get a $30 return or 20 something, but it's not always about the return. It's about, okay, if you don't do some things, your home will sell way less than if you do some things. So as is, it sounds great. And I know a lot of people want to sell as is. And if you're okay with maybe getting 10, 20% or 10, 20, 20,000, whatever your price your home is less, then that's fine. Like I went to a house yesterday in Abington, and the father lived there for years and didn't do anything. It was great. But the house is great. It's got good bones. It's fine, just cosmetic, right? So the outside needs to be painted. The inside needs to be painted. Things are chipping. And the driveway hasn't been done since probably 1960. So what I was saying is just make the outside look good. Let's get it painted inside and out. And I said, well, let's spend $8,000 on this house, even 10. But if they don't do it, they'll probably get under 300. If they do something, I'm going to get them 350, maybe 370. So the difference is huge doing something. I know it's a pain. So I know it's a pain to get out there and have the painters come over and do all that. But what we do is everything. So we have this done for you system that we send out people, unless you have your own. We would, if you have your own painter, we like to coordinate with them and be the lead of the, like almost a general contractor. If you have things to do in your house. If you don't, then that's fine. I think Anna, we told her, put some knobs on her her cabinets. I was there. Her niece was there when I came over, and just like little things that don't cost a lot that will brighten up her kitchen because she had like older knobs on there. So it's like things like that. So it's not like we're going to come in and redo your kitchens and baths or anything. Maybe your cabinets could be painted. I just painted I was just at a house in Willow Grove Avenue, and this was almost like a fixer-upper because the guy did nothing. So we painted the cabinets, we painted the inside, paint the outside, chip paint, went in there. I think Dave was like 4,500. Doing nothing to this house would have been terrible. I mean, maybe I've gotten 240, 250. I ended up getting 340, and we spent everything with a new door and things like that. I think about 5,000 or something like that. So got him like almost a $60,000, $80,000 difference just by doing something. But I know, and then it was vacant, so he didn't have much pain. I was doing all the work. He was in New York. I actually sold the house to his parents, but he bought the house for his parents back in one of my first year in real estate, 1993. I was a rookie of the year. I sold like 15 homes. He was one of the people, and he called me up. I'm like, oh my God, I thought, his father had passed away. And he's like, I was looking for you. And I finally found your, so I still sent him cards in the mail, his father. And then his brother said, oh, this Diane Cardano, you got to call her right away. So it's just stories like that over and over again. I got a ton of stories that will make you want to go out there and maybe do a few things before you put your house on the market. Hi there. Who's that?
Little Eddie.
Hi, little Eddie. That's cool. So I think that's good. It's about almost 10. I have any questions? Anybody? I'm sorry I'm not on the Facebook. I might be some questions on there because I am live. I just don't have that up right now. And nobody helped me today. My nephew's out showing houses. We got people galore wanting to get out there. I do have some new listings coming on the market. If you go to comingsoonlistings.com, you'll see some of the ones that I'm coming on. And buyers, I'm not allowed to tell you the address because NAR says I can't market your home for more than 21 days. So everybody knows about the participation trophy. We're all patriots here, right? So, everybody gets the trophy. Now, that would have worked for me when I was younger. I was star athlete. I was, this, that. So I would wanted the trophy. That's what I was going for, that trophy. But now everybody gets one. Well, with real estate, if you are really good at what you do, like what things that I do and creative, they put a squash on it. So I used to market my listings like, Tony, if you were going to go on the market in 4 months, I would be marketing it now. And sometimes I get somebody I'll take it. I'll pay this amount. You never know, but it's good to get out there because somebody who's buying your house might be selling another house. So, and it takes time. So it's good to have it out there. So now they say, nope, I'm going to put you all in a box, 21 days, only 21 days. Can you have your home marketed? If you put it on Zillow or any social media and you don't put that in the market in the MLS within 24 hours, you get this huge fine. And all it does is put fear, like the fear we're getting right now from our government. You fear, wear that mask, I don't think they're going to go back. They're going to go back to putting the mask policy back on again. And I think it's just because elections are coming up. We all know that, right? We all know what are their tactics right now. What was that, Tony?
I said, don't wear it. I never did. I've had security guards follow me around. I said, I'm not wearing it. I can't breathe. I don't have to tell them anything else. And that's written right in the policy. I show it to them right on my cell phone. Exceptions.
There you go.
Read, you don't have to wear it. They ask for a doctor or whatever. I say, hey, that's personal private information. And it gets the HIPAA Act, and I can file a civil rights suit against you. You continue.
Right.
So can I text you when we're ready to have you come out?
Yeah, I will. Yes, I can. You can just text me or call or go on Diane's calendar, set it up, whatever you want to do. Just text me, whatever you want. Okay.
Great.
Thank
you so much. Very informative.
Thanks, Ed. Talk to you soon. So everybody else, Ann,
I have one question.
Go ahead.
I was looking at the estimate that you sent, and in Philadelphia, there's a lot of different little areas, eclectic, and I'm wondering if you experience this, that some houses in certain areas, although on an MLS, they might look the same, but they're really different. Like I have a garage, off-street parking, it's brick. And other places, oh boy, you're on the street parking. You'll never find a parking spot when your car's full of groceries, it seems.
Right.
Uh,
So
is there a big differential there? Do you often
yes,
see that?
yes. So for you, because you have all those things, Zillow or that report I gave you is only looking at the area prices,
Right.
your
Okay.
square footage, and giving you a price. So it came in low. I saw that came in low because they don't know you have the driveway or garage doesn't really put lots of value, but
Right.
puts lots of value in your neighborhood for a buyer. So they'll pay you more. So you can take that number and depending on what's on the inside, obviously, and probably jack it up. Yeah, it was a little low, I thought as well. But when I was on the computer on the phone with you, I noticed that the values were lower. Like, I don't know where some appraiser came in at over 250, but the values were lower around you. But there was nothing on your street similar that had that garage.
I looked at some more houses that had sold recently, and they were a little higher than that estimate. But that'll come out in the wash, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, we'll squash that because I'll just come out and I'll give you the real facts, the real news, not the fake
Real
news.
deal. That's what
That's all it is. So I'll see you on Tuesday. Anna, it was always nice to hear your voice.
Thank you.
And,
Nice to see you too.
and I did. Oh, by the way, I did notice that on your deed that it's still that yours. It's still in your name.
Oh,
Good
good.
check.
Good.
Okay.
Right. It's still in both names though. My
Yeah.
husband.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thanks for coming on board. I'll see you guys soon and have a good weekend. Take care.
You too
You too.
now. Thank
Right.
you.
All right. Thanks.
I
Bye-bye.
found this very interesting and very informative. Maybe
Thank you.
more intelligent.
Thank you, Anne, for your support. And
You're welcome.
we're going to get it done for you down the
Okay,
road.
Take
All right.
care.
All right.